Hi, everybody. This is Tana with Proverbial Homemaker. And today we have the privilege of talking to Andrew and Sarah about their curriculum that we've been using in our home for quite a while called SkillTrack. It is for families and homeschools, and it helps you busy mamas and busy families to help teach your kids life skills. So I have talked about it quite a bit in my email. I just sent out an email today that had a giveaway. So SkillTrack is offering a Proverbial Homemaker reader the chance to win a one quarter. You can correct me if I'm wrong, right? Quarter one of the SkillTrack software, which is what we use. That's an online system where you go in and you can choose the different tasks that your children get to do so they can learn different life skills. And we just have one program that covers all of our kids. We have 6 kids, so it's really helpful that way. And our kids have just really enjoyed going through and learning these life skills together. And I have enjoyed using it because it helps me to teach an area where I may have just forgotten to otherwise. So I wrote a detailed review for you guys to explain how we use it and just some general tips about teaching life skills. And you can find that over on proverbialhomemaker.com. And I will give you a link that you can follow after this live interview so you can enter the giveaway and win. And SkillTrack is offering all Proverbial Homemaker readers through February only the chance to get 15% off any of their products. So that includes the online software system that we use and digital download bundles that you can purchase separately. So any of those products, except for the lifetime membership, you can get for 15% off using Homeschool Success as a coupon code. So I will leave all that information for you in the comments, so you don't have to write that down. And then the other thing I want to mention before we get too deep into this is that we're doing a flash giveaway right now. So you can watch us chat together and talk about SkillTrack and how it works. And if at any time you have a question about SkillTrack, I want you to comment on this Facebook Live post and you will be entered to win one of the download bundles of your choice, the SkillTrack. What is it called again? SkillTrack Express. There you go. SkillTrack Express bundles. You can download one. They're really awesome. You can choose which one you want. And so anyway, comment on this Facebook Live to win that. So if you guys can see me, make sure that you comment if you can hear and see us so that we know we're not just talking to ourselves. And thank you guys for joining us and talking about SkillTrack. I'm really glad to have you here.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's a pleasure to be here for sure.
Good. So what I really want to know and what I want Proverbial Homemaker readers to hear from you guys is the vision behind SkillTrack and why you created this tool.
Yeah, the vision came almost by accident, and I'll introduce myself. I'm Andrew, but I'm also, if you're doing the curriculum, you may know me as Trekker Andrew. And but away from that, I don't wear the plaid shirt and everything like that. And my wife Sarah Elizabeth, and it all started for us. Almost a year ago, a little away from vacation with the children, and let me premise this by saying that in many areas of our life, we thought that we kind of had it all together. I thought if somebody needed a life skill curriculum, it kind of isn't us. I'm an entrepreneur. I've got 3 companies. That are going well. My wife's a successful blogger, homeschooling 7 children. We've kind of got it all together. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to take the kids down to the pool and let them swim. And in the pool they went, and it was, what are they doing? I mean, I kind of knew that they had swimming lessons and things, but being busy, I hadn't so much been involved, and realized that you can't. Can you not swim? And one of them kind of could swim a little bit. So I spent the rest of the time teaching them because I'm very concerned. I mean, there's a big percentage of the earth is water, and my children can't swim, not effectively. And then after seeing that, it became other things. We had an 11-year-old, and would you? 9-year-old. And at that time, would you believe it? She couldn't tie her shoelaces. Mm. And she's like, I've never had a pair of shoes that I needed to tie.
Right, because she, in our fashion, she wore flip flops, or Velcro when she was little, or slip-ons. So it was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
How did we miss this?
And so what went through? Now I'm hyper focused on this. What other gaps do they have? How do they miss out on these different things? Mm-hmm. And I started doing some research in that and realizing that there's so many gaps that my children have, and realizing as well that if you've got children, you tend to teach your children those good areas that you really strong in. So I may know some things about maintenance. I'm pretty decent under the hood of a car and a few other bits and pieces. So I bring the kids along, hey, we're going to do this, and off they go. Can my kids darn a sock? Can they? There's so many other things that they can't. I'll give you a really, it seems like a trite example in some respects, but I'm not into sports whatsoever. I don't care about football, American or European. Don't care about football, basketball, baseball. Just don't care. So my children aren't into sport. And then we go to a gathering, and I said to my son, I said, "How come you're not playing with the other children?" "Oh, well, they're throwing a football around." "Well, I don't know how to do that." And I'm realizing that I am socially affecting my child because of things that I'm interested in or I'm not interested in. And so it started to really dawn on us that what we need is a curriculum that's going to fill in all these gaps, because it doesn't matter how good you are as a parent, the area of your expertise is relatively thin and narrow. And so you don't tend to teach them the areas outside of that, those skill sets. And so I wanted to really look at how we can flesh that out. And if I needed a curriculum like this, and we first of all looked for one, said, okay, let's sign them up for something. And Liz is like, Sarah Elizabeth is like, I call her Liz, sorry. It's like, there isn't anything out there. And we looked deeper and deeper, and we couldn't find anything. And I said, then we need to create something. And she said, you're insane. And I said, no, it's okay. It's just a year of our life doing and thrown in on this, and and then a whole lot more, and a lot of money. But I think we could do this. And and somehow I dragged her along for the ride, and she finally got behind it and got excited about it. And so it came together from that. But that was where it came from. It was seeing the need in our children and realizing that if our children have a need, there's a fairly good chance that other children out there have a need as well. And so
our library is comprehensive, as you know. We cover 18 different categories, and we have interviewed parents, we have interviewed different community leaders, we've interviewed employers, and talking about even the skills, just because of our culture. Again, we're very technology driven. We have doing things for us, I guess. But there's an employer. There are a few employers mentioning how they're seeing candidates come in with resumes with impressive academics, but they're lacking in the basic life skills. They may have a college degree, but they don't know how to set up a home budget, or they don't know how to or budget for what they need, for that matter. So we ended up going to families, and again, different things, different community leaders, and we gathered this initial list, which was over 500 skills, and it's growing. So we are not only providing a life skills program to prepare children for pretty much anything, but we're also including updated things for like current events, topical skills, so that, when someone asks you, what's the significance behind this holiday?
Flag Day or something, whatever. We hear about these things, but where did it come from?
So how does SkillTrack actually address these issues for parents? So what is it like for them in the system? I know I'm going to be doing a live demo for everybody on Tuesday, but just from your words, how does SkillTrack actually solve those problems for parents?
I think the wonderful thing about SkillTrack is it builds such a good foundation that when you first get into anything, it seems like, okay, we've got one more thing to add here. And I'll give you just a live example that we had just about a month or so ago. My daughter, I'm busy with something else. Again, I say I'm busy, and I try, but those things happen. And my daughter's like, I want to do SkillTrack. I want to do my SkillTrack. I want to do that. I want to do my next. And I'm like, okay, we'll get to it in a minute. We'll get into it in a minute. And
that sounds familiar.
All right, what is your skill? And she says, I've got to do yard cleanup and full yard cleanup and all that. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you can do that. Because that was one of the things on the list. I was hurrying so I could get on to do that. And all of a sudden that's the skill she's got to do. And it's like, wow, that just opened up my entire day. So spending 15 minutes with her, getting her prep, telling her what tools she needed, went through the lesson, let her watch the video, and off she went. And then watching from the window, going out, giving a few tips here and there. What an easy day I had from that. So in that respect, it really is very powerful for helping families in that respect. So as we do this as with our children, it's every one of the skills is written in such a way that it's designed to bless back the family. They're not designed to be a burden. They're designed to, if it's a cooking one, then the application is to cook the meal for the family, to cook the treat or whatever it is. If it's any form of, whether it's cleaning, maintenance, it's all designed to be a benefit to the family, to learn that skill, to know that skill, and then to be the person on the spot to assist with that from that point. So very, very quickly, it stops being a burden and becomes you're empowering your children to be, I don't know, a workforce in the home or whatever that would be. And, I'm not advocating, child labor, of course, but all of this is the experience they're going to take with them, through the world. So when they get to their dorm and the bulb's gone out, they know exactly, oh no, that's dangerous. You shouldn't do that. And all those different things. They've gone through these different things, whereas the other children may have seen it from a distance or may not even have a clue. Well, how many kids get to college and it's like, how do you do laundry? You have to put they don't even know where to start on those kinds of things. So giving that basis, and some of those things, of course, the family already knows. Oh, we've already got our kids doing laundry, or my child is very good because they can already ride a bike or whatever it is. At which point there's a large array of bonus skills. So you're in complete control of that. So when we go and have our skill track time, what you do is look at the skill. What's your next skill that's been released, and you'll review that. And if it's this one's not appropriate for you for whatever reason, or you already know that one's, then you go and substitute that for one of the bonus skills.
For the legacy skills.
And there's legacy skills as well. And let me explain what the legacy skill. And I know I'm bouncing all over the place. Sorry, my mind works like that. But the idea of the legacy skill was, let's say you've got an 8 or 9 year old child. They start the program, but if your 9-year-old child was like mine, they start the program, but they didn't know how to tie their shoelaces. But because that was a skill for kind of a 5-year-old, they're going to miss that skill, and so they've got all these gaps. So the idea of the legacy skill is a quick questionnaire, essentially, where you get to go through all of the different skills
from previous level, core skills from previous
and make sure that yes, you're up to snuff with all of those different things, and you're good to go. And it was funny because even this one we were experimenting, and we went through this, and Sarah Elizabeth was saying, "Oh yeah, they know that, and then
they did it.
No, they didn't.
Oh, they did it. This has happened to us twice this week. Yes, it has. Okay. So that legacy skills assessment tool is one of my favorite parts about the curriculum, because SkillTrack was created to be customizable and flexible. We have a large family, and we also have children with special needs. So it was important to me to be able to tailor this to each child. So if there's something that my child isn't ready for, no problem. You can just click remove, and it'll come back later. No big deal. Mm-hmm. So, we had a situation this week where we have a skill, how to make your own lunch. And one of our teenagers, I thought, well, she knows how to do that.
Yeah, she's practical. She's
exactly
knows her way around the kitchen. So
yes.
she's good to go.
Earlier this week, because she's been homeschooled, her whole life, it's not that often that we had to pack a lunch for something. And she's like, I don't know how to do that. And I thought, oh, well, let's go add that skill, and discuss it and talk about it. So you never know. Yeah. But and you were giving those examples earlier about how it can come back to bless the family. One of our team members said, I love this, because her teenager not only had learned how to clean an oven and stove correctly, how to clean out the trash cans correctly, and how to descale items correctly. She's like, my stove and oven are completely clean. My trash cans are totally cleaned out. My everything's descaled.
Yeah, my shower head's working now.
Yes. So not only has that come back around to benefit the family, but also her son now has these skills to go, on into life with. So it's neat.
Yeah, and we try and cover as well. A lot of it's not just about maintenance and cleaning and those sorts of things. There's a lot. There's even survival bits and pieces and all sorts of things. And we also try and have social aspects to it. That's where the sporting comes in and bits and pieces. Yeah, a lot of recreation things. And that comes from my experience. I was a bit of an awkward kid when I was growing up, and there were certain things I wasn't necessarily into sports, and I remember, the local kids, they had skateboards. And I'm not talking, draggy skateboard kind of, but kids who went to skateboard, and I didn't know how to skateboard, and I did actually get a skateboard, for instance. I could, I didn't know, I had no one to teach me, and the other kids, it was just one of those things that I couldn't be with the cool kids, and just trying to fill in those gaps on the social side of things has been a real benefit as well. So you get into that social situation. Back to my son, he knows how to throw a football, or he knows the basics of basketball, because he's not going to learn the sport from me, and he might miss out on that. But at least if people are throwing around ball, kick it, go out in the park, somebody pulls out a soccer ball, knows how to correctly kick a ball without toe punting it, and those sorts of things, the basics of basic rules of a game, just so that they can do those, or whatever they might be, dominoes, you name it. So we try and get a full array of different skills and spread them out. So it's not all just, it's another cleaning, it's another cleaning. It's just all that. So there's a real variety,
right.
And we feed those out. They get released on a date. So there's also a little bit of a surprise element of, I wonder what's come out now. I wonder what come out now. So we try to keep it fun in that respect as well.
And that's why we do have the variety built in the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's because, first of all, we're trying to make sure that they are exposed to a good variety of skills. And also because we're trying to push you out of your comfort zone a little bit, and expose them to things. And also because, as you mentioned yourself, you sometimes forget, if you love cooking, you're already teaching them those cooking skills, So with Skill Trek, we've like I said, we created it so that each level, and there are 12 levels, each level has just a good variety of skills from each category.
Yeah, and they build and they build and
right.
they build. So there's a lot of reinforcement there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so can you guys tell me a little bit of the difference between the online software and then the Skill Trek Express bundles, and why somebody would want to pick one over the other?
Okay, so the Skill Trek Express was created in response to families who didn't necessarily need a comprehensive library. They just wanted a simple bundle of skills to work through. That's all they wanted. The online software has the complete library, and it's set up so that, and also that library is growing.
Mm-hmm.
The Skill Trek Express bundles, once they're created, they're created. So, that's it.
Yeah, the online also manages the progress and keeps track of all of those aspects
with
as
the
well.
nugget boards.
Yes.
So, yes, the Skill Trek Express, these are released each season. And they're just a bundle of skills that you can buy as a one-time purchase. So there's not a subscription. And then you can also print out the nugget sheets as well as the nugget stickers. Whereas with the software, you have the virtual nugget board. And then when they complete a skill, their little a little nugget will auto-populate into the virtual nugget board. And with the software, you also have the Hall of Fame, which is completely optional. But the kids who are in there, they love it. So that's neat. The parents have told us like their child loves seeing their picture in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So the Hall of Fame is also unique to the software, and the Legacy Skills Assessment Tool is also exclusive to the software.
Yeah.
So.
And the Hall of Fame, let me just say, that is one of my favorite aspects of this. And when we were first creating this, that was something that I just really wanted. But, I literally, and I'm almost embarrassed to say this, but literally tears in my eyes as I'm watching that. Because I remember writing those skills and just thinking these will be fun, and seeing these children that have worked through this and are learning those skills and are proudly demonstrating that they've completed that. And it's just a dream come true in that respect. It's just to see it all come to fruition. It's fantastic.
Right. It is really neat.
Yeah.
And we actually go through and approve all the Hall of Fame images ourselves. So every time we go through and I see that and I can see the child's name and what skill, I love it. It's like, especially when you hear these stories of employers seeing, seeing these graduates who can't do a budget. It's like I'm seeing these teenagers who are learning how to create a home budget, and they're actually, doing it. In our applications, we don't have kids do something one time and then, you got your nugget. We actually want to build some habits, and we say, yes, you're going to work on building your home budget with like a mock budget, however the parents have set that up for them. And then they have to go and present it to their parents so that the parents can say, okay, you've got this.
Yeah.
They're not just reading a lesson and that's it, you're done. And that was one of the things, like with our son. He was in a group a few years ago and he earned something for learning volleyball. And I kept it because I'm his mom. So I kept it. And then he came back and said, this doesn't mean anything to me. And I'm like, oh, okay. And he said, well, I just read something and they asked me a couple of questions and that was it. No one ever actually tested him on it. So to him, that meant nothing.
Yeah, he can't play volleyball or anything like that, but he's got a certificate or whatever.
Well, because he read the lesson. So like when we have them make your bed lesson, they don't just make the bed the one time. You know, they make it every day, so that becomes a habit and it becomes a good foundational skill. And even with that, with like the lessons, we've written them so that depending on which group the children are in, the lessons become progressively longer, and they are building on where they are developmentally.
Right. Yes, that's awesome. I want to mention real quick that I will be doing a demo because I know people are going to have questions about exactly how everything works. So on Tuesday, I'll leave a link for you guys so that you know when to pop in, but I'll be showing you exactly how the online system works. And thank you so much, Andrew and Sarah Elizabeth, for joining us and for explaining all of this. It's really helpful. It's really helpful to be able to hear kind of the vision behind it. And there's a whole bunch of questions, which is fantastic. So if you guys have a chance, if you can answer those, and then I'll also make sure everybody that I try to address those during the demo. So make sure that you ask a question, because asking a question enters you during this session and afterwards, after the replay is posted all the way through tomorrow night at 11:59 p.m. to win your own choice of the SkillTrek Express bundle. So please enter a question or submit a question in the comments, and then you'll be entered to win that. Don't forget that I'll leave you guys a link so you can go enter to win a quarter of the online software for your own home and your own homeschool. If you're homeschooling, it's a fantastic tool, but even if you're not, it's a wonderful blessing to our family. A few of the things real quick we love, they've already touched on these, but we love that it's not just a checklist for you to check off that you've learned a skill. It really does reinforce everything. There are things that our kids can do independently, but a lot of times it's a tool for us as parents to help teach and train our kids. And I just find that really valuable because it fills in, like Andrew was saying, a lot of gaps that I just wouldn't even think of them learning. Like my sons learned how to oil a squeaky hinge. You know, normally I would just badger my husband until it was done. And then I'm like, wait a minute, we can use this. So he actually taught all of us how to do that because I don't know. I'm a domestically challenged mom. So anyway, it's a fantastic tool. You guys definitely need to go check it out. I'll leave you a link, and make sure that you join us next week for the live demo. And then one more announcement real quick, because this is a big deal. This is the only promo that SkillTrek is doing this month is with Proverbial Homemaker readers. You can get 15% off the online program that we use or any of the SkillTrek bundle, the SkillTrek Express bundles through the end of February using the coupon code Homeschool Success, except for the lifetime membership. Want to make sure everybody is very clear on that, but I'll leave detailed instructions for you guys in the comments. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Make sure you ask questions so that Andrew and Sarah Elizabeth can answer them.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us. Bye, everybody.